how the hell is Anthony Weiner still alive? What do you mean by that? Well, when you go through the list of people that have been close to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons and the death pool, this is not a conspiracy. You got the names of Robert Williams, Conway LeBlue, Todd McKeon, 46 names.
Have one of your producers call up one of those families and tell them if they want to be listed in one of these conspiracy podcasts.
You're so sweet for saying that. You're so sweet for playing.
But Hillary is just like almost an android.
What do you mean by that?
She's not like can you imagine talking with her about like human pain and like stuff that you're going through? Absolutely, like it wouldn't, you would, exactly, you would never be able to reach her heart.
When Patrick, Bet David, and Lindy team up, it's less a debate and more a political demolition derby. Bet David carves through the flimsy wrapper of manufactured leadership with icy precision, while Lee lands sharp jabs that expose every contradiction. Their combined firepower doesn't just challenge a legacy, it obliterates it, leaving Hillary Clinton's image bruised, her story in tatters, and her credibility dangling by a thread.
What was Hillary like? I hear she's a sweetheart.
Really? That's a joke,
Obviously, I'm being.
That's, oh my God.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
That's one person that's not a sweetheart. That's not a sweetheart.
What was she like?
She's very cynical and jaded.
Cynical or jaded? So that
And
means
jaded.
at one point she wasn't cynical and jaded.
I probably wasn't alive then. But
Tell me what you mean by cynical and jaded.
very practiced, very choreographed, not genuine. Like Biden, say what you want about him, but he's genuine. He is. I mean, at least with me, like on a human level. He's not faking it. I mean, he faked his presidency, but he's not faking his human emotions.
Hillary Clinton has faced roast before, but Patrick, Bet David, and Lindy turn it into a ruthless teardown. She doesn't stride in as a seasoned stateswoman or feminist icon. She stumbles in as political deja vu incarnate, the woman who keeps running but never wins. The candidate endlessly rehearsing a victory speech that never came. Hillary turned inevitability into an Olympic-level punchline.
They pretend to hate Trump, but it's just a gag. It's just show. It's a charade. You saw Obama yucking it up with him at someone's funeral, at Jimmy Carter's funeral. Democrats pretend to hate Trump. At the end of the day, they crave him. They're obsessed with him. They need him for their fundraising machine. They need him for their raison d'etre. Without Trump, they would have no rudder. They would be even worse off than they are. Trump is their lodestar. It's their reason for existence. They're obsessed with the man.
So they're not trying to protect themselves.
They have no other reason to exist at this point because their party is just their party basically.
Patrick, Bet David jumps in, zeroing in on Hillary's power obsession. For decades, she's gripped the political stage, reinventing herself each election like America forgets her past. Lawyer, First Lady, Senator, Secretary of State, presidential hopeful, memoirist, podcaster. Her resume reads less like a career and more like a desperate LinkedIn profile from someone who won't log off. Bet David rips into that thirst for relevance, portraying her as a politician blind to the curtain's fall.
The House Oversight Committee issued subpoenas Tuesday to a slew of former Attorney General and FBI Directors Clintons for their testimony case involving sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The subpoena seeking depositions from former Justice Department officials were issued after Republicans and Democrats on a House Oversight Subcommittee approved measures to authorize the demands last month as part of an effort for Congress to obtain more information about.
Lindy joins with her own blade, slicing into Hillary's endless excuse factory. When Hillary loses, it's never her fault. Sexism, Russia, the FBI, Bernie, the Electoral College, even a YouTube video take the blame. Lee reveals how Hillary's built a scapegoat empire, a myth of outside foes explaining her voter disconnect. The irony writes itself. The only one she hasn't blamed is herself.
So he lied to the American people. Let's not forget that this is the President of the United States lying, deceiving the American people on a matter of national security. This is huge.
Well, if a politician is talking, they're probably lying.
Yeah, and you know what? I think is silence is completely damning from the mainstream media. I haven't heard a single peep other than from Fox News.
Then there's the email scandal, the gift that keeps on roasting. Patrick Bet David skewers Hillary for treating national security like a personal inbox. A woman aiming for stateswoman status left a digital footprint that screams cybersecurity warning. Bet David highlights the absurdity. She was billed as the most prepared candidate ever, yet fumbled basic classified info, like wanting to lead a Fortune 500 firm but leaving the vault ajar.
Not him. People love Bill Clinton. They fear her. Do I know 100%? No. But if 74, whatever the number is, if 50 people around you, if 10 people around you keep committing suicide, I'm a little bit concerned. I watched this documentary. 400 people that this nurse was looking at, they made a documentary, whatever they call this guy. The movie came out, The Good Nurse. 400 people died because they're taking a drug. This guy eventually went to jail. The difference between her is she controls all these political organizations.
Lindy, Lee doesn't let the hypocrisy slide. Hillary's brand leans on accountability and openness, yet she spent her career dodging probes, sidestepping subpoenas, and crafting evasive replies. Lee exposes the gap. Hillary sells herself as the room's adult, the pragmatic vet, but her truth game is as flexible as her trade stances. Bet David amplifies the roast, dismantling her public face. He notes her authenticity struggles, solved by morphing into whatever focus groups suggest. One day, a cookie-baking grandma, the next chugging beer in a dive, then adopting a southern drawl at church. Bet David shows these acts backfire, as voters sniff out the fakery a mile off. Her flaw isn't lying, it's botching the pretense.
Even back then. Oh, I didn't know that. Even back then, one person brought the flag. Interesting. Hillary looks very uncomfortable, head bobbing. Listen, say what you want about Hillary Clinton. Very attractive lady. Just, she could have been a mob boss.
She said the U.S. intelligence community knew
that the
Russia,
the investigation.
exactly, that there was no tangible impact on the election. This is the first time we're hearing it. Not only that, they knew under the Obama administration, who actually, he was the one going out there saying that Russia
Lee escalates the takedown, targeting Hillary's opportunistic feminism. She brands herself a women's champ, but her record tells another story. When convenient, she shielded her husband from misconduct accusers. When it helped, she wielded gender as a critique shield. Lee tears into that flip-flop, showing feminism as a costume she dons or ditches for ambition. Then there's Benghazi, another anchor she can't shake. Bet David dissects her botched handling, exposing the arrogance and blunders that fueled disaster. She treated the nomination like a crowning and the election like a checkbox. Lee roasts her for mistaking inevitability for electability, noting America didn't miss history. They dodged a bullet.
What were you
Out of
telling your
bounds.
mom? How soon was it after the election? Like
A week or two. When it wasn't at that point. I was just asking questions. Like, it wasn't even. I was like, what happened to the $2.5 billion we raised? Why did we spend it on Beyonce? Why did we spend 2.5? Why did we spend millions of dollars on Oprah? Like legitimate questions that needed to be answered. But the amount of hate I got for that was just overwhelming. And the final straw, the moment that I knew that I needed to leave, was actually around Christmas Eve, when the chair of the party, he's the biggest clown that the Democratic Party has ever, like, honestly, in recent history, I can't think of a more incompetent boob than this man.
Bet David digs into the farce of Hillary's campaign tactics, millions spent, consultant armies, endless data crunching. Yet she ignored key states that flipped the election. He skewers her elitism, detachment, and smug belief voters were there to affirm her fate. When it shifts to her truth record, the roast heats up. Bet David traces a decades-long shadow of scandals, half-truths, and crafted dodges, Whitewater, cattle futures, emails, Wall Street gigs, painting her as the political Houdini of accountability, slipping from one mess into the next. Lee sharpens the edge, exposing her selective morals. She lectures on ethics, while her foundation took cash from rights-abusing regimes, poses as the people's voice while pocketing bank fees from foes she later criticized. Lee roasts her for turning politics into a pay-to-play racket, masking personal gain as public service.
You were Hillary Clinton's CFO in the campaign, right? Part of my history. Were you? Yes or no? In 2016. Did you facilitate the payment for Steele dossiers as you were CFO of the Hillary Clinton campaign? Sir. Yes or no? Sir. Yes or no? That was not. You're under oath, Chairman Gensler. Yes or no? I know. I was not something I was aware of. I yield back the rest of my time.
You know he knows, right? Byron Donalds, it's a G, the way he handled that.
Then comes the Russian narrative, her go-to-loss excuse. Bet David mocks the irony of a competent candidate blaming Facebook memes, likening her to an ant spamming WhatsApp conspiracies. He calls it a coping crutch for someone who can't face voters' rejection. Lee piles on, noting Hillary's ghost-like grip on the Democratic Party. Whispers of a comeback haunt every cycle, like a bad sequel stuck on repeat. The humiliation isn't just losing, it's falling to the unelectable foe her party trashed. Bet David doubles down. Her loss wasn't a fluke, it was a verdict.
Number 7 is Hillary Clinton. You know what? You think she wants Kamala Harris to be the first female president? To me, it should have been me, Hillary, not Kamala. Who is Kamala? Imagine dinner. Nobody's around. It's just her and Bill, whatever, in their pajamas. I would assume they're wearing pajamas. I don't want to visualize, but come back to me. Whatever they're doing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if would she look at the way she answered? Over me, Bill? Over me, Bill? I should have been it. I'm glad she didn't win. I am so sorry here, Kamala. We voted for you. These people are ridiculous. I feel like they did the same thing they did to you. They did in 2016 to me, and we should have won. Girl, I got your back. Thank God she didn't win. That's kind of how I visualize it.
As the roast winds down, Hillary's legacy lies in ruins. Bet David and Lee have stripped away the polished talks, staged visuals, and endless excuses. What's left is a politician defined by flops, not wins, entitlement, not inspiration. Hillary aimed to be a trailblazer, but they cast her as a warning tale of ambition detached from reality. The roast sting comes from its humor. Hillary isn't torn down with fury, but with laughs. The jokes flow naturally, the hypocrisy begs ridicule, and the contradictions collapse under their weight. Bet David and Lee don't just wreck her, they unveil her as the punchline she fought her career to avoid. The roast doesn't stop. Her enthusiasm was fake, applause lagged, and energy so flat even loyalists dozed. Bet David jabs at her mistaking dullness for depth, as if voters should equate monotone with wisdom.
These Epstein files, do you have an opinion at all? Hey, you know, it's going to come out. No, it's not going to come out. Hey, this is what's going on. No, that's what's going on. How closely are you following that? What do you know about it?
I just want to say the fact that the DNC elevated Bill Clinton as one of the keynote speakers at the convention and that they had him running around Georgia, around the East Coast campaigning for Kamala Harris, disgusting. It was political mouth.
Lindy Lee doubles down, highlighting how Hillary offset her charisma void with Hollywood glitter. Star-packed fundraisers and celeb endorsements propped up her otherwise lifeless brand. Lee roasts her for borrowing coolness by association, not earning it, turning campaigns into award shows voters saw through. Then the Clinton Foundation, her financial Achilles heel. Bet David rips into the scandal-riddled charity, blurring philanthropy with pay-for-access politics. He nails the irony. The corruption drainers swam in it, calling the foundation a dressed-up influence-peddling front with ribbon cuttings.
I think a part of it is just being attacked so often over the decades, and also her thirst for power. Her pursuit of power was her raison d'etre. Like it's the thing that animated her soul. She needed it. And you could tell like her 2016 campaign was so stilted and so emotionless. That's why Bernie Sanders caught it. Because at least he was real. Like, I hate that communist socialist shit, but at least...
Lee recalls the campaign gaffes that sealed Hillary's disconnect, like the basket of deplorables line, her defining slip. She skewers Hillary for sneering at millions, letting her disdain peek through polished scripts, costing her everything. Bet David contrasts her historical obsession with her thin achievements. By the end, Patrick, Bet David, and Lindy Lee reduce Hillary to a multidimensional cautionary tale. The politician who swapped inevitability for unpopularity, feminism for a prop, transparency for secrecy, and entitlement for a slogan. In their hands, she's not just broken. She's the tragic comedy of American politics, chasing history only to become its jest.